You are listening to Your First 100K, the #1 podcast for Christian entrepreneurs, coaches, and business owners who want time freedom and financial freedom so that they can provide for their families, travel the world, and give back to the less fortunate. If that's you, then sit back and stay tuned in because you're in the right place. I'm your host, Joseph Warren. I started my first multi-million-dollar business at age 19 and wasted away my 20s trying to find happiness through money, success, and pleasure. I made millions, but I still didn't feel happy or fulfilled until I learned the real secrets of success. So the big question is this: how can Christian entrepreneurs like us, who didn't give up on our dreams, build a highly profitable 6 to 7 figure business without being unethical, doing it all ourselves, and neglecting our family and our faith? Well, that is the question, and this podcast will give you the solutions and strategies you've been looking for. Thanks for spending time with me today. If you're new here, then welcome. I have a free 10-day training waiting for you over at first100k.com. Again, go to first100k.com to grab your free 10-day training. Today, my featured guest is Priscilla Steffen. You can find her at priscillasteffen.com. She is an intuitive business strategist and creator of the Soulfluent leadership archetypes. She excels at helping people identify their zones of genius, step into powerful leadership, and live their purpose profitably. Startup Nation, you want more profit. That's what it's all about. Lower those expenses, automate your systems, suck out, squeeze out more profit, right? So that what? You could spend more time with your family. You can go do the things in your life that matter, right? Pandemic has taught us what matters in our life. It's got us back to that family. I think it's great. Discover your Soulfluent leadership archetype and other resources at priscillasteffen.com. Priscilla, welcome to your first 100K Top 100 podcast in entrepreneurship. Go ahead and fill in some of the gaps in that intro, would you?
Yes. 3 times, massive career changes, dark nights of the soul. Never thought I'd be doing this, let alone an entrepreneur. But hey, I've been doing it for 10 years. Wouldn't know what to do if I didn't do this.
Very cool. Now, I read a little of your backstory, and I just want to share it, okay? Because I think it's going to set up our conversation well.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm just going to read this verbatim, Startup Nation, right? Because, straight from Priscilla. Here we go. She is super candid about going through 3 major career changes: environmental policy, event planning, health coaching, and now soul-driven business and leadership coaching. Those are completely different all over the spectrum, right? 2 stints of burnout she had, an autoimmune disease, panic and anxiety attacks, and feeling really lost for a long time with many dark nights of the soul, as she said. She's been a coach for 10 years, and this is her second business. First one she did for 3 years, importing Brazilian jewelry and accessories from Brazil. That's her heritage, her background. She's lived in New York City for 20 years, my birthplace. Worked in Washington, D.C. for 7 years, and now lives in San Diego with her husband, dog, and 2 cats. Now you got the whole scoop on Priscilla. Priscilla, take a minute. Share something personal about you that we didn't discuss there that very few people in your business life actually know.
When I was in high school, I dreamt of being a concert pianist.
Why didn't you do it?
I didn't want to spend 8 to 12 hours a day locked in a room by myself practicing. I didn't think I was as good as the real concert pianist. And that, I don't think I've ever recovered from that disappointment of, I think, we have a piano here and my husband's like, what's the matter? Let's go play guitar and piano. I'm like, yeah, it's just not going to be that great. And so it was rough. But then, I knew there was more to life, but music was a big part of my life growing up in high school. So.
I think you just hit every listener right in the heart. What, Startup Nation, is that little desire of your heart that maybe you didn't pursue? And now you're searching the world for your purpose, your calling, when your heart already knows what it is. Oh my gosh. Priscilla, I'm not saying that's the case with you. I'm just saying that's the case for some people. All right. Listen, if you had pursued it and you didn't do the whole comparison thing, and like you just believed in yourself, like, I don't need to be better than anyone else. I just need to be my best. And like you went in and you did what it took. Like, do you think you could be crushing it right now?
I am not sure. Leaned more into the classical music side of things, which is so about perfection and like you get the right. Ugh. I probably would have had to find some other kind of music that wasn't that just brutal. Like, no, that's just like a millisecond off. And I'm like, I can't do that. No. So.
Sounds to me like a huge opportunity to create a new genre of music.
Yeah.
That is aligned with you and your personality. But what do I know? That's not my background.
Something to ponder.
It's a ponderous thing. All right, Priscilla, take us into your business right now, okay? Now, you started this current business, the Soulfluent Leadership, etc. You started this coaching, what, how many years ago?
I started this in 2015, so we're looking at 6 years now.
6 years, okay? And you said before we went on, right? We went live here. You said, hey, Joseph, I'm not even at my 6 figures yet. I just want to be transparent about that.
I am. Yes, it's true.
Okay, got it. Thank you for that, right? Because you're my listener, right? How do you feel about that? Like, if we're just getting real to it, and then we'll go through, like, you know, some areas of stuckness or whatever, and hopefully get you through into some kind of action or whatever, and our listener as well, and inspire them. But like, how do you feel about that? How do you sit with that? It's been 5 years. You probably tried so many darn things. Like, are you at peace about that? Because you could totally be. Or do you feel differently? How do you feel?
Depends on the day. On average, it's hell no. What the hell? Frustrating as all stuff. And it's also been an incredible journey of perseverance, of tenacity, of clarity, and of just overcoming my own mindset stuff. Because I'm good in business. I'm really good at what I do. My imposter syndrome and then also subsequent perfectionism has got to be really good and look really nice, and has really been the Achilles heel. It's always been me. I have a vision. I have a sense of what's working, what's not. I'm on top of who's in the business, who's in my field, what are they doing, what are the trends. But it's been really hard. I mean, I was listening to Gabe's podcast and I started to cry. I'm like, man, the guy went from 30 to 60 to 120, then to 300. I'm like, it's not rocket science. What the hell? You know, and there are days when it's like, you know, before it would be like, what's wrong with me? You know, there has to be something broken, wrong. Am I really designed to do this? Am I kidding myself? How long do you keep working on faith until you just say, look, maybe I need to go get a job, you know, go do something else. I know in my gut that I can do this. This isn't impossible. I just got to get over myself, right? There's that inner stuff, which I have come so far. And there's also the tactical business aspect of it as well. Since 2016, I've built this entire body of work, the Soulfluent Leadership Archetypes. And so with that has come a framework to help people understand how to build a soul-driven business that actually works for them, for their gifts, for their talents, for the business that they want to put out into the world, and to be a vehicle of good. And it's been a massive apprenticeship for me to go through this. So on top of just, you know this, right, Joseph? Owning a business can be challenging. Some people just seem to wake up and have like this magic golden touch, which I hate those people who just wake up and then they make $1 million. But for most of us, you know, when we do get there, it's been a journey, right? And for me, not only did I have to go, my soul, my spirit, my godliness, whatever, decided to do a business, I had to go and do a spiritual business. I channel guidance for business for people from this thing called the Akashic Records. And so on top of the stigma of owning a business, I then went on to feel like, imagine going into a networking event in New York City and saying, oh, I channel information from your business from the Akashic Records. And, the New Yorker like tilts the head and goes, Akasha, what? And I'm like, okay, I am a pariah. I am a moron. What the hell am I doing here? People don't understand what I'm doing. Nobody wants what I want to offer. And it was really just hard to explain what I did, even in a way that I didn't feel completely out of place. Never did I find that I liked things I never felt like what I wanted to do as a career was mainstream, which is fine. But the problem is in how do you make money from stuff that is not mainstream? And there are people that do make money with spiritual businesses, but it has been a real issue for me, because who wants that, And so it's not, I always wish I could just be a bookkeeper. I mean, how challenging is it really? Like I crunch numbers, duh. Now here I am, I channel stuff for people. And now of all things, I developed a body of work on leadership, for God's sake. I never knew anything about leadership. I couldn't care less if you were a leader or not. And yet I have an entire framework to help you lead and understand how you are as a soul designed to lead and to lead in business, because that's what jazzes me up. Business is amazing, fantastic. It's a tool for good. And it's also an incredible tool to refine and help you understand how amazing you really are. So there you go. I just went on a rant.
That was a good rant, though, because I think Startup Nation, you identify with Priscilla, don't you? You feel stuck. You feel stuck sometimes in explaining what you do, who you do it for. You get jumbled on your words, don't you? Right? Yep. And people look at you and tilt their head. And they want to be nice, but you could tell they completely do not understand what you do, the way you understand it. And it's frustrating because it's almost like your heart knows what to say, but then your mouth gets in the way. Right? And the words just come out all funky, jumbled. And you're like, why can't I just translate what's inside of me into this person in front of me? So this is a very common predicament. It's also one of the first steps for any business owner to conquer. You must get past this step of clearly articulating what you do, for who you do it, and what you're helping them with, yeah, right? What's their pain and what's that thing they're going to get, right, when they hire you, work with you, etc. I've been jumbled on this in every business. It takes work. It takes work to like sit there and think out, how do I say this in a way that people are going to get? Not in the clever words that impress people, but confuse them. See, that's what so many of you are doing. I'm putting my hand up right now because I used to do this all the time. I wanted to look important. I wanted to look smart. So I was very clever with my wordsmithing. But I would get the tilted heads everywhere. Nobody understood what I did. They were impressed, but nobody hired me. What's the point? So if you feel stuck there, and Priscilla, thank you for going first, right? Because that takes something. That's courageous. You just went on behalf of everyone in my audience saying, hey, this is where I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. How do I get out of it? Like, what do I do? All right, let's work on it. Are you open to that, Priscilla? You want to kind of just work on it to kind of assist some of our listeners right now and get them unstuck?
Sure.
Yeah?
Sure.
Cool. Let's grab a pen and paper. Startup Nation, grab your pen and paper. You should always have a pen and paper for the show. Why? Because my guests come on and they share valuable things, valuable insights. And Priscilla right now is sharing a valuable lesson for you. Okay? And she's going first. She's showing up as a student. Again, that's heroic. So, Priscilla, I just want you to write down 2 words. I help.
I help.
Yep. And you've heard this before, but we're going to get clear on it right now. Okay? I help. And Startup Nation, do the same thing. Let's go. Pick up your pen. I know you know it all. But the bottom line is this. It's not working. So let's do it different. Okay? I help. And then put a blank line. And who is that small niche group of people you just absolutely love working with? And also you're a part of them. Yourself, yeah? So let's take a minute. Startup Nation, we're going to wait for you. We're going to wait for Priscilla. We're actually going to do this. Because why? I want to get you unstuck by the end of this episode. I want you to go into next week unstuck in this area. That's real value. All right. So, Priscilla, let me know if you get something or where you're feeling stuck, even in that right there.
No, I'm good. I know who she is.
All right. What do you got?
So I help established service-based women entrepreneurs.
Okay. Got it. So these established service-based women entrepreneurs, what's their station in life right now?
Life or business?
Life and business, yeah?
So I'll start with business, which is easiest. The ideal person is they find themselves as the bottleneck in their business. They're doing too much of everything. It's kind of what Gabe was saying, like, when I hired people, I have so much freed up. And also, so there's no room to grow because they're doing too much themselves. Mm-hmm. The other issue is that they're maxed out on work. Like there's no room to grow because they have too many clients. Okay.
All right. Got it. All right. So let's kind of clean that up just a little bit. All right. The women entrepreneurs part I like, or you could put women business owners because it kind of says what they're up to. Sure. But let's clean up the first part because it's just it requires an explanation. We don't want that. We don't want to put a question mark in the person's mind in front of us. Yeah.
Sure.
We want to make it as simple as possible. So even the term maxed out, kind of a cool term. I don't think you're going for overwhelmed because it's actually a good thing, right? They got a full body of clients, right? So what might be just another way to say that? I help.
Established service-based women entrepreneurs who have a full practice or a full clientele.
Okay, there you go. So maybe I help full practiced women entrepreneurs or women entrepreneurs with full practices. Mm-hmm. All right. And then what is that? Let's move to the next, right? And you can toy with that, okay? And just clean it up. But the whole point is you don't want it to be confusing at all. You want it to be very just so clean to understand who it is, okay? And then the next one, Startup Nation, for you, put a blank. What is that that big goal that they want or that big problem that they're facing and they want to get rid of? What's their number one most pressing problem?
Right. Well, in my case, they want their time back. They want time freedom.
Okay. All right. So it might be get their time back. It could be as simple as that, right? I help these types of women get their time back. All right. So Startup Nation, fill out yours. What is that pressing pain problem that audience is having? Or that big, massive goal that they want, they desire. They're willing to pay a lot of money for that thing. Could be a monetary goal. Could be something else. And then put the next word, without. Okay. So I help these people do this, get this, without. And what is that big common struggle or challenge they're going to face in getting that goal or getting that outcome? As an example, I'll give you one right now, okay? New project I'm doing. I help Christian influencers, bloggers, and podcasters monetize their audience, because the majority of them are kind of like not making a nickel from their audiences, right? Monetize their audience without building complicated funnels or using paid advertising, as an example. Okay? It's very right to it. Boom. You know exactly what it is I do, who I do it for, and it addresses their big problem. And the big thing that they're not looking forward to doing. That's the without part. All right? So what is that thing for you?
The without is burning out or working the same or more hours than they already are.
Okay. All right.
So without working harder, right?
Yeah. Yeah, good. And I'm going to give 3 examples from one of my guests, Joel Stalley, who was just on my show. And he uses these examples. So I help mid-6-figure business owners scale their business to 7 figures within 6 months. So he doesn't use the without, he actually uses a timeline on that one, okay? So you could do it that way. So I help mid-6-figure business owners scale their business to 7 figures within 6 months. He's not very specific in the niche on that one, but he's specific in the outcome. Another example is I'll book out your calendar with 30 qualified prospects each week without spending a dime on paid traffic, as an example. It tells people exactly what they want, right? What they're going to get and what they don't have to do. Another one is for a dating coach, as an example. I teach introverts who haven't been with a girl. He uses a crude term, but I'll just say it. I teach introverts who haven't been laid in over a year how to land quality dates 3 nights per week. Okay?
Sweet.
So those are just 3 examples that are just very clear, very potent, very rich to the listener. That instead of saying, hey, I'm an online dating coach, like when you say it that way, they're just like, oh, that's me. I get that. And I'll give you one more example, Startup Nation, okay? And this is for my my Blow Up Rocks one-on-one VIP coaching that I do for Christian men, okay? So I help Christian husbands blow up their anger issues forever without having to waste their time and money on therapy or marriage counseling. Why? Because every darn dude does not want to end up in therapy or marriage counseling. They just want to avoid it at all costs. So you see how rich that is? It speaks right to the guy. He's like, oh, that's me. I have anger issues. My wife keeps complaining. I keep blowing up on my wife and my kids. Oh, boom. Where do I go? blowuprocks.com. Got it. So that's what we're looking to do here. Priscilla, is this helpful?
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And we can move on from here, okay? But Startup Nation, I wanted to get you unstuck. Go work on that specific homework assignment. Come up with that little 30-second statement and practice it on people around you and just see if the tilted head goes away. Is that fair?
Fair. Love it.
That's what we're going for. Get rid of that tilted head where people go, oh, that's awesome. Or I know a person, or I am that person. That's what you want to start to hear. When you start to get those types of feedbacks, you got your pitch. That's your pitch. And it's a 30-second pitch. But that's going to open up everything. Now you copy and paste that sucker on all your social media profiles. That's your main headline. You put it in your email signature right there. And people are going to go, oh, that's me. Oh, that's me. Now, not everybody, 90%, they're not your fit. 10%, 2% are. But when they come in, they know exactly what you're about, how you're going to help them, and they're willing to pay you for it. Okay? So I just wanted to serve you that way, Startup Nation. And Priscilla, thank you so much. Priscilla, let's get into my favorite part of the show. But before we do, I want your top 3 tips and strategies of what has worked in your business so far. I get you're at 55, 60K right now. That's cool. You're going to hit 100K in the next 12 months. It's happening. Okay? It's happening, girl. Let's go. Right? Yes. You're doing this not for free. This is not a charity. All right? Do this to serve people. And remember, Startup Nation, more money allows you to create more impact. More income allows you to create more impact. Okay, that's why we're doing it. So for all you heartpreneurs out there that are like, I just do it because I love people and I just want to impact people. That's fantastic. Then make more income so that you could reach more people and impact more lives. Deal? That's what it comes down to. All right, so Priscilla, what are your top 3 tips and strategies that have worked really well for you or have moved you forward in your business?
The first one is trusting. I had to trust that there were really ideal clients for me, the ones that really are so easy and enjoyable for me to work with, because you always get a bag for a while, right? And to, I hate the word niche, but to really focus in on who that specific
avatar.
I don't like that word, but but what that profile is, the profile of that person.
My bestie, my BFF, that's going to pay me.
Yeah. And some people say soulmate clients, which I go like, ugh, please don't. Don't give me like a Gen X or whatever generation they are. Don't. It's just like the ideal client that really gets you. I think, and here's a way that I like to describe it. The client that will receive the fullness of your talents and your gifts and really thrive.
Yes. And I love that you said that, because there are clients that want to work with you, but do not truly appreciate what you do. That's why they get all cheap and weird right at the sales conversation part, right? And then you have the clients that come on that sales conversation call with you, and they're like, man, I just want to thank you so much for offering me this opportunity. And I just see all the lives you're changing and helping. And like, I can't wait to get started with you. That's who you want to work with. And oh, by the way, here's my credit card. Let's go.
I know.
Win. I just had one sign up like that yesterday. It was fantastic. High ticket offer. And he's thanking me, right? And he's like, he's a listener to one of my shows. And he's like, Joseph, I feel like I know you already. I listened to all your shows. It's fantastic. You've helped me so much already. And it's like, I'm in. Let's go. And it was like, oh, I just love those moments. So Startup Nation, it's possible for you too. So Priscilla's absolutely right. Find that person.
Two more. Can I go to the other two? Yeah, really quickly. So the other one is to really embrace your talents and the way that you work with people. And that means, lead with your strengths and don't hide what you're afraid, because what you're probably afraid of telling people is your superpower, because I know that's one of your questions later. Like, I lead with soul. My business is spiritual business coaching. Pussyfooting around the spiritual part isn't going to help anyone, because that's what they pay me the big bucks for. And it also means that I am more boutique, I'm more high end, and I go deep with people. So I'm not your $97 coach. And the last one, keep it simple. Really. We highly overcomplicate business. It's not complicated. And you were talking to Gabe about the 80-20 rule. You probably get most of your clients by doing a few set of things over and over again. And it's really important. Every day I wake up and I say, what money generating activities are there today? You got to be thinking about the money first. You have to.
Again, and for all of you out there with poverty mindsets and biblical, breakdowns and distortions and stuff around money, again, don't focus on the money for the sake of making money where you're obsessing about the money. Focus on the money, making the money so that you could have more impact and touch more lives and have your own life of meaning and fulfillment. That's why, okay? So I really want you to shift that money equals impact. Income equals impact, okay? Come away from this episode making that shift in your mindset. It's very powerful. All right, those are some good 3 strategies, Priscilla. I agree with all 3 of those, okay? Keep it simple. Listen, we all have this like perfectionism thing, or a lot of us do, right? Priscilla, me, yeah. I'm with you, girl. I'm with you, okay? Totally get it. Like, I got to get the copy just right. I go back 15 iterations, right? Just for that one sentence. And it's just like, oh my gosh, something that has served me well. Good enough is good enough. Get it up. See if the head tilt goes away. Say it out loud. If it does, you're on to something. Now just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. You could perfect it later. But just take that one step and then try it. Go for it. It does not need to be perfect. And when you make it perfect, you actually ruin what would have worked.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome, Priscilla. Thank you for those. Those were powerful. Awesome. All right. So we're speaking with Priscilla Steffen. You can find her at priscillasteffen.com. Priscilla, welcome to my favorite part of the show. Welcome to the Hustle Round. I'm going to ask you 10 quick fire questions. You'll have about 3 seconds to answer each. Don't overthink it. It's just for fun. Are you ready?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. What's your favorite thing about being an entrepreneur?
Freedom.
For sure. What's your least favorite thing?
The hustle and the worry about where's the next client going to come from.
Yeah, for sure. Feast or famine, right?
Yep.
What are you most afraid of?
Never reaching my fullest potential.
Amen to that. I think every human can identify with you on that. I believe we're all struggling with something at any given moment of our life. It's just part of being human. What are you currently struggling with right now, either professionally or personally?
Mortality.
Mortality. That's deep.
Well, you asked me to be honest. I just lost my closest friend to COVID a week ago. You know, like we are in the middle of a darn pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm in my late-ish 40s, you know, husband just turned 60. So yeah, it crosses my mind.
Got it. I think a lot of people right now, we're looking at, I don't have all this time possibly. Got it.
Yeah.
What did you spend way too much time doing this past year?
Worrying.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it. For sure. What secret fear do you have about people?
That they just really hate me.
Oh, I like you.
Yeah, whatevs.
How is that not worth something? That's valuable. I don't like everybody.
And especially New Yorkers, we don't necessarily love even other New Yorkers, right? I consider myself a New Yorker, even though I wasn't born there and all.
What do you wish you had learned sooner in business?
That good is good enough.
Yeah, for sure. What's a new habit you want to create?
Consistency.
Okay. What's a bad habit you want to break?
Worrying.
For sure. Pick 3 words to describe who you are now.
Badass, focused, on target.
Pick 3 words to describe who you were year 1 of this business.
Terrified, perfectionistic, perpetually worried.
And last question, Priscilla, if you could come back to life after you died, look your family and friends in the eye and give them only one piece of advice about everything, what would you say to them?
Love is the answer, always and forever.
Yeah. Love is the answer. Any final wisdom? What's the one thing you want my listener to know about making their first 100K in the next 12 months? Like you're going to do.
You've got to believe in the work that you do, and you have to have a system to articulate that to people simply so that the right people can pay you lots of money.
Amen to that. Startup Nation, you must believe in yourself 100%. You must believe in your work, like Priscilla said, and then have a very clear, simple way to articulate what you do to the people who want it most. That's it.
Them to pay you for that.
They will pay you for that because they have the pain and you have the solution. It's a matter of time. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Priscilla Steffen, thank you for being on your first 100K. Where does Startup Nation go to find out more about you? What do you have for them? What do you got?
So there is the free 3-minute archetype quiz. There are 5 archetypes. Understand which archetype you are at priscillasteffen.com/quiz. I have my first book, The Soulfluent Leadership Business Guide, coming out in January of 2022. You can get on the wait list for that. That tells you which archetype you are and how to build your entire business around that. And just good stuff. I've got a great blog and I'm really real honest. And if you want to talk about business, spirituality, soul, and just creating a business that supports the greater good and how you have a good time and you make good money and I don't know, come hang out with me. It's good stuff.
Awesome. Priscilla, thank you for being on your first 100K. I wish you God's love, peace, and joy in your life.
Thank you. Likewise.
Hey, Startup Nation, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen to my show. Whenever you're ready, there are 3 ways I can help you. Number 1, grab your free 10-day training at first100k.com. That's first100k.com. Number 2, get your hands on a copy of my new book, Your First 100K, How to Make 6 Figures in Under 12 Months, at josephwarren.net. That's josephwarren.net. And number 3, connect with me to discuss how I can work with you on a more personal or one-on-one level at blowuprocks.com. That's blowuprocks.com. I'll see you next week on Your First 100K. And remember that wherever you are in your entrepreneurial journey, you're just 100K away.